안녕하세요. 카프라TV 시청자 여러분, 제 이름은 제임스이고요. 오늘은 12월 30일 오후 1시입니다. 오늘 아침 6시부터 캘리포니아에서 그 $500 million Small Business 비영리단체 그랜트 애플리케이션이 열렸습니다. 하지만 지금 여러분 신청하시고 싶으신 분들은 아시겠지만 웹사이트가 지금 엄청 느립니다. 그래서 거의 뭐 들어가실 수가 없는 수준인데 제가 조금 아까 11시에 웨비너라는 걸 들었습니다. 웨비너가 뭐냐면 지난번에 LISC 그랜트 신청하신 분들은 아시겠지만 이거를 이제 해당이 되시려면 인터넷으로 이렇게 강의를 해요. 지금 캘리포니아에서 나오는 그 $500 million 캘리포니아에서 직접 주는 게 아니고 비영리 단체를 통해서 여러분들한테 이제 드리는데 그 비영리 단체들한테 우리가 어플라이를 해야 돼요. 그래서 오늘 아침 6시에 이게 애플리케이션이 열려서 내년 1월 8일 밤 11시 59분에 닫힙니다. 그리고 이제 당첨은 1월 13일 날부터 된다고 제가 며칠 전에 그 영상에 말씀을 드렸는데 오늘 웨비너가 있었고 지금 현재 여러분들이 이 절차에 대해서 좀 더 배우시려면 이 웨비너를 지금 참석을 하셔야 돼요. 그래서 그거를 어떻게 참석을 하실 수 있는지 제가 일단 보여드리겠습니다. 이 웹사이트 이름은 그러니까 California Relief Grant.com입니다. 요 창에다가 제가 적어드릴게요. 여기로 들어가시면 이제 이런 웹사이트가 열릴 겁니다. 오케이? 여기 이제 열려가지고 여기 보시면 apply through partner, 그러니까 비영리 단체를 고르세요. 여기 카운티별로 할 수가 있고 랭귀지별로 할 수가 있습니다. 랭귀지별로 누르시고 요 밑으로 내려가시면 여기 코리안이라는 게 있어요. 그래가지고 비영리 단체가 한 5개 정도? 아니다, 한 7개 정도 하는데 요 중에서 이제 고르시면 돼요. 근데 이제 apply now 누르면 지금 이게 이렇게 떠요. 그래서 이제 넘어가지가 않아요. 이게 왜냐? 이게 트래픽이 너무 많고 지금 너무 많은 분들이 신청을 하시기 때문에 그래요. 그래서 제가 조금 아까 이제 웨비너를 저도 참석을 해가지고 녹음을 해드려가지고 좀 있으면 제가 여러분한테 보여드릴 텐데 일단은 이 웨비너가 지금 계속 영어로 진행이 되고 뭐 스페니쉬, 잉글리시, 필리핀어 뭐 여러 가지 언어를 이제 설명을 해주는데 한국어 웨비너가 요번 주 일요일 날에 있어요. 약간 1월 3일 날 요번 주 썬데이. 그래서 요거를 이제 참석을 하시면 좋을 텐데 이거를 이제 예약을 RSVP를 하고 들어가셔야 돼요. 그래서 요런 식으로 들어오셔서 요거를 클릭하세요. 클릭하시면 여기 이제 리스트가 나올 겁니다. 그래서 여기 보시면 1월 3일 날 요거 보시면 English and Korean이라고 되어 있어요. 아침 11시에 시작합니다. 그래서 요거를 이제 하시고 여기다가 저는 이제 제 인포메이션을 여기다 넣었는데 여기 해가지고 레지스터를 하세요. 레지스터를 하셔가지고 여기 preferred language는 여기 코리안이라고 쓰시고 그럼 이제 레지스트레이션 하신 후에 이메일이 이제 도착을 할 겁니다. 오케이? 그래서 요번 주 일요일 날 요거를 들으시고 들으시면 되게 이렇게 인포메이티브한 웨비너예요. 여러분들이 이거 이 그랜트는 누가 해당이 되는지 누가 안 되는지 무슨 서류가 필요하신지 그 애플리케이션 절차가 어떻게 앞으로 이제 진행이 될 건지 그런 거를 다 설명을 들으실 수가 있고 오늘 웨비너를 들어보니까 얘네들이 지금 웹사이트가 느리고 안 된다는 걸 미리 알고 있습니다. 그래서 지금 이 비영리 단체에서 무슨 얘기를 하냐면 오늘 이거를 신청을 하지 마시고 내일 하라고 합니다. 오늘 이제 항상 이런 그랜트 정부 지원금이 나오면 첫날은 항상 엄청나게 바빠요, 웹사이트가. 그래서 내일 이거를 신청하라고 합니다. 그래서 지금 여러분이 현재 아직 신청을 못 하셨으면 제일 먼저 하셔야 되는 게 여기 calreliefgrant.com 들어가셔서 웨비너 한국어로 이번 주 일요일 날 거를 먼저 등록을 하세요. 등록을 하시고 그 시간 맞춰서 등록을 하시면 이메일을 받으실 거고 이번 주 일요일 날 아침 11시에 그 이메일을 다시 여시면 거기 줌 링크가 있을 겁니다. 줌 링크를 누르시고 거기 들어가서 그 강의를 들어보시면 한국말로도 이제 통역을 통해서 설명을 해드릴 거니까 그거부터 먼저 하시고 그 통역이 필요 없으신 분들은 뭐 오늘 저녁에라도 한번 뭐 다시 신청을 한번 해보세요. 그 웹사이트 들어가서. 근데 제 생각에는 오늘 하루 종일 이게 좀 바쁠 것 같습니다. 오케이? 네, 오늘 뉴스 업데이트 거기까지 해드리고요. 다음에 또 뵙겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We're going to let everybody filter in. We do want to make sure that everybody uses the Q&A box if you have questions. And if you tried to go through the Lendistry platform, we will talk about that today as well, as we have some updates, and we do understand that some people may have not gotten through. Most people probably haven't. So we'll talk about that as well. But please fill in the Q&A box with any questions you may have. And we'll try to get to everybody's question today, if possible. And just so everybody's aware, today's presentation is both in English and in Tagalog. And so we have Susan De Los Santos from San Diego, who's going to do the translation. And so welcome, Susan, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Yeah.
And we have Scott Rogalski as well that will be joining us. And Manal Richa will be answering a lot of your questions. So if you could she'll be putting up some information for you as well. There is some problems with the site. There's been a lot of activity. So if you didn't get through, we do just want to make sure that you are aware that this is not a first come, first serve. So the first round goes through January 8th. So you have that entire time to apply. So don't feel that you have to get in today. And we're actually talking to people, trying to tell them to wait a day or two, let the traffic die down a little bit, let them work through the kinks on the technology before you get in and try to fill this out.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. This is Scott from Northern California, SBDC. Like what Mike was saying, is this is being recorded. We are here to help you at no cost. The site is down, and there's a lot of updates that we're going to go over today about the site, how to navigate through it. And we have to really keep in mind is that the applications for round 1 is open until January 8th. So you have 8-9 days to apply. So you don't have to apply right now when the site is crashed. You can apply tomorrow and you'll be okay.
And the site hasn't crashed. Let's use the right terminology. It's very slow, and most people aren't able to get in and do what they need to. So our suggestion to you today, after talking with Lendistry, is to wait a day or two and then come back to it. And hopefully the traffic will have gone down. Lendistry will have gotten all the technology pieces fixed. But let's get into this, and then we'll try to answer all your questions. And I see a lot of questions already. So let's go through this. For those that don't know much about this. So we're going to skip through some slides. We're actually going to walk through the application today as well. And I know that there's a lot of questions about the application itself, so we'll get into that. So let's start with this, the CAReliefgrant.com. This is the site to go to. Probably not today to go to, but this is the site that you're going to want to go to get into your application. Again, it starts today, but the first round rolls through January 8th, and there's no special point value that you're given if you're in before everybody else. After the 8th, then they'll take a look at everybody that applied, and that's when they will grant out funding. So whether you get in today, this morning, or you get in on Friday, January 8th, it's all the same. So take your time. If you're having issues, like I said, I would probably wait and do it in a couple days, but that's just me. But let me let Susan translate a little bit of what I just said.
Wag ho kayong mabahala kung hindi kayo makapag access sa computer ngayong araw na to, because ang aplikasyon ay mula ngayong araw, Disyembre 30 hanggang January 8. So take your time, and para bago kayo makapag go through, walang difference kung let's say mag-apply kayo agad until the 8th, but take your time. Hindi ho ito first come first serve basis. Okay?
All right, Scott, just a little bit about this. We don't need to go through the whole thing again, but
yeah, definitely. So good morning again. So about the program, it's a $475 million program that is administered through the state of California, and the lender is Lendistry. They're the only lender that is using the state is giving the money to Lendistry, and they're going to disperse it over to you as the grant. And the first round launched, as Mike said, this morning. That's for 237.5 million.
Mhm.
Okay.
And yeah, it's not first come first serve. I don't know if Susan wanted to translate
Yeah.
that, but there's a chart on here that you can see based on the revenue size of your business entity, and that is 1,000 to 100,000. It's a $5,000 grant. 100,000 to $1 million is a $15,000 grant, and $1 million to $2.5 million is a $25,000 grant.
Yeah. So ang lead district po ang bahalang mag-distribute ng mga pondo. Sa unang tipunin or first round, ang i-release na pondo ay 237.5 million. At ang structure ho ng pagbibigay ng grant, it will be kung anyone or kusino na business na may taunang kita mula 1,000 hanggang 100,000, kayo po ay makakakuha ng 5,000 grant. And then anyone anumang business na may 100,000 to up to 1 million ay makakakuha ng 15,000 grant. And ang kumpanya na may kita na mahigit 1 million hanggang 2.5 billion ay makakakuha ng up to 25,000 na grant.
Yeah, and I have seen a couple questions, so just want to make sure. So this is based off of your tax returns, which we'll get to in a second. So it is to the dollar, right? So if you did $950,000, you would qualify between $100,000 and $1 million. So you'd qualify for the $15,000 grant,
Yeah.
right? So it's where if you're $1 shy of the $1 million on your tax return, then that's unfortunately they're doing it by the dollar. So we've learned a lot of information from this morning to share with you about some new things from Lendistry and the state's requirements. So they're going to take that exact number off of your tax return, and we'll get to those lines where they're at. So if you're $1 shy, then you fit into the category that where you're at. You can't round up. So let's go to the next slide.
Again, please put all your questions in the Q&A. The chat does not get answered. Please put all questions in the Q&A.
So, and we are going to walk you through the application today and try to answer questions as we go through it. So we're going to skip through this PowerPoint. We're going to go pretty quick, so we're going to skip through a lot of it, but we'll send you out this PowerPoint as well. But to qualify as a small business, you can be a sole proprietor, a 1099, independent contractor, an S Corp, a C Corp, an LLC, and then many others, and that might be confusing on the application as well. You just on your 2019 tax returns, and keep in mind, 2019, not 2020. They don't want your 2020 taxes. In 2019, that's the tax return they're looking for. If you didn't do 2019, then it's your 2018. You have to have done in yearly gross revenue a minimum of $1,000 and no more than 2.5 million. If you're at 2.5 million and $1, you will not be eligible. You're $1 over. Conversely, if you're at $999 of gross revenue, you'd be $1 shy of being able to apply. And I apologize. We're trying to give you the information of what we're learning, but that's how strict this is. So I just want to make sure that you're aware. We're trying to give you the factual information of what you're going to run into. Susan, I don't know if you want to try to translate what I said.
Okay, yeah. So ang patakaran po is that ibabase nila sa income na i-final nyo sa inyong tax return ng 2019. So ang inyong kita ay dapat hindi lalagpas sa 2.5 billion or hindi bababa sa $1,000.
Okay. And then for nonprofits, it's the same structure for 501c3s and C6s. And to qualify, same thing, between $1,000 and 2.5 million, and you have to file 990s. If you don't have 990s, Lendistry will not look at it.
Yeah. So paalala ho para sa mga non-profits, kailangan kayo ay nag-file ng Form 990 ng 2019. And again, ang minimum na kita ay dapat 1,000, eksakto. And dapat ay meron kayong 501c3 or 501(c)(6 non-profit entity.
Okay, perfect.
All right, so eligibility requirements, as you can see, there's lots of text here. I'm not going to read it all, but you must meet the definition of a eligible small business, which we're going to go over. Your business has to have been active as of June 1st, 2019. This is a hard set date. If you started your business after June 1st, 2019, you do not qualify for this grant. Your business must be impacted by COVID-19, the health and safety restrictions such as business interruptions or business closures due to the pandemic. Applicants will be required to certify eligibility, including that the grant will be used for the specific applicant and that such applicant with the highest revenue. So if you have multiple locations and franchises and all that great stuff, you need to apply only for the location or franchise that has the highest revenue. And then you also must provide organizational documents, which we'll go over, as well as a government photo issue ID.
So ang inyong negosyo ay dapat bukas ng June 1st, 2019 at kayo ay dapat na-impact ng COVID-19 because of health and safety restrictions or na-interrupt ang inyong business or na-isara because ng COVID-19 pandemic. At kailangan nyo pong i-certify ang inyong eligibility na kayo dapat na makakuha ng grant. At inyong pinapangako na ang inyong makukuhang grant ay gagamitin lamang sa tamang paraan. And ang mga aplikante na maraming businesses or by franchise or iba't ibang location, kayo ay allowed na mag-apply sa isang lokasyon lamang at pipiliin nyo ang pinakamataas na kita ng branch or location. At kailangan nyo pong magpadala or mag-submit ng mga dokumento at acceptable government-issued photo ID, gaya ng passport or state ID.
All right, and then the revenue verification. So this is where you're going to get off your IRS tax form. So gross sales, and this is a line item. It's different per entity, depending on the entity that you are. So line 1C for 1120C or S. Those of you who know that you're an S Corp or C Corp, it's line 1C. Line 3 for Schedule C, which is independent contractors, sole proprietors, the Ubers, the Lyft, stuff like that. That is line 3. Line 1C for Form 1065 for partnerships. Line 1C and line 2 for Schedule F for farming businesses. Line 12 for nonprofits, and Schedule E is not available, or not eligible. Schedule E is not eligible.
Yeah. So, para sa pagbe-verifikasyon ng inyong kita, ang base ho dito ay sa IRS tax form. So, para sa mga corporate returns, 1120 or 112S for S Corporation. Line 3 on IRS schedule for single member or sole proprietorship. Line 1C, Form 1065 for partnerships. And then line 1C, line 2 on schedule para sa pang-agricultural negosyo. And line 12 on Form 990 para sa nonprofits. Sino man ang nag-file ng Schedule E, hindi ho kayo pwedeng mag-apply.
Okay, so just so you guys know, again, it is gross revenue. It's not your net profit. It is the gross revenue of your businesses. And for nonprofits, I have seen the question, and we've asked a few times, does in-kind count? We're still waiting to get an answer. So I apologize if we haven't got you that answer, but we don't know the answer to that question either. But we will ask again, because I know I've seen that a few times, and I know that that could be frustrating. So we do see it. We do send all these questions to Lendistry every day, but we will definitely try to get that answered. And then just one more thing, if you are, if you've changed ownership in your business, I know I've seen that a few times of you either bought the business or you inherited the business. As long as you can prove that the business was in operation prior to June 1st, even if you were not necessarily the owner, you either bought it or you inherited it or something happened, you would still qualify as well. They would ask you for an explanation and you'd be able to, then that's when you would satisfy and prove that part. So, okay. Just want to move on. So ineligible businesses, you have to have a physical location in California. You have to be a 501c3 or C6 and file a 990. Without a 990, you wouldn't qualify. And I know that somebody asked the question about 990N, and I will find out. So let me, again, I have that written. We're writing down these questions. I'm not sure the difference of a 990 and a 990N as far as what Lendistry would be looking at. So let me find out for you. Government entities are not eligible unless you're part of a Native American tribe. If you're engaged in political lobbying or activities, passive business and investment companies, churches and other religious institutions. And then one of the questions that we learned today, or answers we got back, was if you run a school or a preschool out of a church, Would you qualify? You would if that school files a 990. So that's kind of the caveat to that. So just to make sure that you're aware, that's what they're looking for. Financial businesses primarily engaged in the business of lending are not eligible, or affiliated businesses. And I won't read all the ones on the right side, but you guys can kind of see what is and what isn't. And Susan, I don't know if you want to try to translate some of what I said. Yeah.
So ang mga hindi karapat-dapat na mag-apply ay ang mga negosyo na walang physical na lokasyon sa California, ang mga non-profit na hindi rehistrado na 501c3, 501c3 or hindi nag-file ng 990, mga entities ng gobyerno, mga negosyo na pangunahin na nakibahagi sa political o impluensyang aktibidades, passive businesses or kumpanya ng investment, mga simbahan at iba pang institusyon ng relihiyon, at mga illegal na business base sa federal, state at local na batas, negosyo na vulgar or sexual or in nature, negosyo na hindi ka nais-nais sa lipunan na o aktibidades na mga harang, or negosyo na naghihigpit sa pagtangkilik dahil sa ibang rason maliban sa kapasidad, at mga haka-haka na negosyo.
Perfect. And just so you guys know, when I say 990, those are for nonprofits, because I see that question popping up. It's for for-profit businesses, you would not file a 990. And just to make sure everybody understands, home-based businesses are eligible. So I have seen a couple questions. If I run out of my home, you're eligible. You would just use your home address. So, okay, we're going to skip to the next slide.
So the use of funds, so eligible use of funds. So it's only those costs incurred due to COVID-19 pandemic and the health and safety restrictions, such as business interruptions or business closures, as a result to the COVID-19 pandemic. So as far as what you can use the funds for, you can use it for all employee expenses, including payroll costs, healthcare benefits, paid sick, medical or family leave, and insurance premiums. All overhead costs, working capital, including rent, utilities, mortgage, principal and interest payments, and costs associated with reopening business operations after being fully or partially closed due to the state mandated COVID-19 health and safety restrictions, and then any costs associated with complying with COVID-19 federal, state, local guidelines for reopening with required safety protocols, and then any other COVID-19 related expenses not already covered for the same period.
So, ang paggamit ng pondo, ang lahat ng gastos na sa empleyado, gaya ng payroll, healthcare benefits, paid sick leave, medical, insurance premiums, working capital, gaya ng renta, utilidad, mortgage interest, bayad sa utang, gastos mula sa muling pagbubukas ng operasyon pagkatapos maisara dahil sa utos ng Estado, dahil sa COVID-19 na restrictions, and gastos sa base sa pagsunod sa COVID-19 federal, state, or local na pagbukas na karapat-dapat na safety protocols gaya ng kagamitan, plexiglass barriers, outdoor dining, PPE supplies, testing at gastos sa employee training, at ano pa mang gastos na hindi na-cover ng inyong unang ng loans.
So the ineligible use of funds are human resource expenses for the state share of Medicaid, employee bonuses or severance pay, taxes, any legal settlements, any personal expenses or other expenses unrelated to the COVID-19 impacts, expenses for repairs, damages that are already covered by insurance, and any reimbursement to donors for donated items or services.
Yeah. So mga hindi karapat-dapat na gamit ng pondo ay mga sumusunod: human resource gastos para sa state share ng Medicaid or severance pay ng empleyado, mga taxes o buwis, legal na pag-aareglo, personal na gastos na hindi related sa COVID-19, gastos sa pag-aayos ng pinsala na sakop ng siguro, ang ibinalik na bayad sa mga nagbibigay ng mga items or serbisyo.
We're going to actually, instead of going through pieces of the application, we're going to take you right to it because we know that there's a lot of questions around it. Scott, do you have that on yours?
Yes.
Scott's going to pull it up and we're going to go line by line and try to answer each question. So hopefully this will answer a lot of your questions. And keep in mind, we see you guys, with what Lendistry, trying to go through the site. We understand that it is overworked and it's oversubscribed at this moment. Too many people going through it, and no one's able to get through that process. Our suggestion to you is to wait until tomorrow or the weekend, to fill this out. It is not this first round isn't completed until January 8th. They're not going to look at anybody's application until that time. So if you give it a day or two, I know that's sometimes hard to wait, but wait a couple days. Let them work through the technology. Let them work through all the people trying to get through quickly, and it should be much easier for you to use. And hopefully you can have all your documents ready. You'll see these questions and you'll be ready to go. So hopefully that helps. And like I said, nothing's going to happen until January 9th anyways. So you have until the 8th to get this in.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, go ahead. Susan, if you want to.
Okay. So kayo ho na nagda-try na mag-access ng computer, huwag ho kayo ma-frustrate kung hindi kayo makago through, because lahat ng mga aplikasyon ay gagather up to January 8 and it's only January 9 na titignan nila ang mga aplikasyon. So ang rekomendasyon ay gather nyo ang inyong mga dokumento para kapag kayo mag-apply, kompleto ang inyong mga dokumento.
Awesome, thanks. So as Mike and Susan mentioned, round 1 is open from today to January 8th. Mm-hmm. Please use this link to apply. There's lots of stuff in the Q&A, and the chat that this link is not working. So the link is still live. It's still working. It's a little slow right now. As Mike mentioned, it doesn't make sense to apply right now today. I would apply tomorrow or the next day. Again, you have until the 8th. It's not first come, first serve basis. This will help a lot of you out as far as uploading documents and trying to apply. Is that if you wait a day or 2 or 3 or closer to the 8th, then it'd be better for you and it won't take as much time and you won't have as many problems. But here's the website. So when you click on the website, there is some discrepancies. Do you sign into an account, which you don't have? And the answer is no, don't sign in. Just click on the left-hand side where it says Find Grants Now.
Mm-hmm.
Susan, do you want to?
Yeah.
Possibly.
So kapag pumunta po kayo sa website, hanapin niyo po ang section na nagsasabing Find Grants Now at yun po ang inyong i-login.
All right, yeah. So when you click on that website as our portal, and once it goes into this website here, just click on Find Grants Now. Don't sign in because it's not. You're not at that point yet. The next, what you'll see here is there's 2 things that'll pop up. This only shows 1, but at the top it'll say for profits, and then on the bottom it'll say nonprofits. So make sure that it says grant program for profits or for nonprofits, depending on what you are, your entity is. And this is where you apply now. This is where you click the button, apply now. So,
maaari hong importante na i-identify nyo kung anong inyong status. Kung kayo ay for profit, make sure na nasa window kayo ng where it says apply now for profits. Kung non-profit naman ho kayo, ganun din po. It should say for grant program for non-profits.
Awesome. All right. So here is the first, when you click apply now, this is the first section that comes up. There's about 5 sections. We're going to go through that, and that's where you would actually get to the end and submit. So in the first section, as you can see, it just asks for your name, last name, first and last, your email. It asks that you confirm your email, your phone number, and you have to confirm your phone number, and then your business name and business zip code. And then you should accept the box at the bottom where it says SMS text policy so that you can receive text message updates from Lendistry if that's what you prefer.
Yeah. So, application po, kailangan ilagay niyo ang inyong pangalan, ang inyong email address, at paki-confirm po ang inyong phone number, at ilagay niyo ang pangalan ng inyong business, at ang inyong zip code. Importante po na i-check nyo ang box that says, I accept the SMS text policy. Very important.
Awesome. So then when you finish this first section, you'll click continue, and then you'll go to this next section where they ask for owner details, and you have to fill in everything with an asterisk, as you see here. So again, it's your first, last name. This will transfer over, but then it asks where your city is, your state, zip code, your county, the owner date of birth, the social security number of the owner, and then your ownership percentage. And then you click I accept the terms and conditions, and then go to the next screen.
Yeah. So pangalawang page po, andito po ang information about sa inyong business. So make sure kompleto po ang information at ilagay kung ilan ang percentage ng inyong ownership, lagay inyong social security number at saka kung saan located ang inyong business. And again, importante pong i-check yung box na says I accept the terms and conditions para po mag-go through ang inyong application.
So the next section, I didn't fully fill it out here, but the next section is your business information. So it asks for your business name. If you do not have a DBA, you need to type none. If you don't type none, it won't allow you to go forward. So you need to make sure you choose type none if you don't have a DBA. Your business EIN, if you don't have that, that would be your social security number. Your business phone number, your business type. So there's different business types from corporation to sole prop without employees, sole prop with employees. And we're not going to go through all those right now, but there's different business types. If you have questions about that, we can help you with that. There's a state of incorporation if you're incorporated. There's also business address. You are not able to use a PO box. You cannot use a PO box address. It has to be a physical address. And then as the rest of the information here, your city, county, state, zip, the date you established your business, and then your business URL. If you don't have one, you type none.
Okay. So sa information ho ng business, make sure na kompleto ang information. Lahat na may asterisk ay kailangang fill upan ang information. Make sure na ang business address ay kompleto at dapat ay may information. Hindi ho kami tumatanggap ng PO box. At kailangan ilagay kung saan kayo nag-incorporate, kung anong state, at kung anong date ang inyong business ay na-establish. Kung wala ho kayong business website or URL, ilagay po na none.
All right, so the next section is how we can help you. So the purpose of the grant, and then your amount requested. So when you click on check eligibility over here on the right for amount requested, it'll show you that chart that we showed you earlier, where if you have 1,000 to 100,000, you qualify for this. 100 to 1 million, you qualify for this, and then 1 million to 2.5, you qualify for this. That's what the check eligibility box is for. And then if you are creating new jobs with this grant, you'll put how many jobs you're going to possibly create with this grant money. And I know there's a lot of questions about that, so we'll have to take those one off. The annual revenue is based on your tax returns, as we told you before, as far as depending on your entity, the number of part-time employees, and the number of jobs retained. Meaning, if you get this grant, say you have 5 employees and you get this grant, and it's going to help you retain those 5 employees, that's what jobs retained is.
Yeah. So, sa pahina ho na ito, ilalagay nyo po ang purpose ng grant, kung magkano ang inyong hinihingi. I-check nyo po yung portion ng check eligibility because base sa inyong annual revenue or taunang kita, doon mo malalaman kung magkano ang inyong grant na marireceive. And i-indicate kung ilan ang inyong full-time employees or kung ang grant na ito ay makakatulong para ma-retain or ma-keep nyo yung mga empleyado nyo. And kung ang grant na ito ay makakatulong para kayo ay mag-create ng job.
So the next section is your business demographics. Who is your customer base? So we've been trying to go over this and explain it to you. So B2B is business to business. You only do business with other businesses. B2C is business to consumer. So you do business with individuals instead of organizations, or both. You sell to some businesses and you sell to some individuals. It's a mix. That's what B2B and B2C and both means.
So sa pahina ho ito na business demographics, i-indicate nyo po kung anong kliyente ang hinahanap nyo or kung anong sinisilbihan nyo. Anong klaseng business meron kayo, kung ito ba ay pag-aari ng babae or disabled or kung ano yung ethnicity nyo. Kung kayo ay veteran business or kung kayo ay franchise at iba pa. At kung ano ang purpose ng business nyo.
So that's besides the customer base, as you can see on here for business demographics, it wants to know your NAICS code, NAICS code. There's a link here you can click on here. It'll take you to the website to find your NAICS code, where you can type in the type of business or your business industry and help kind of find the code for you for your specific business type and industry. It asks, like, what does your business do? Tell us a little bit more about that. And then it wants to know what type of ethnicity you are, if you have a rural business or a disabled business owner, women-owned, veteran, and then race or franchise.
Yeah. So again, sa pahinahin ito, may tinatanong din about NAICS code. So para malaman nyo, i-click nyo po itong link para makita nyo sa website na ito. And paalala lang ho, kailangan lahat ng mga items na may asterisk, kailangan kumpletuhin nyo ang sagot. Kung hindi mag-go through ang inyong application, it will not go to the next page.
All right, so disclosures is the last page before you press submit. And again, this is just submitting your application, what we're going through right now. So it says, is your business 51% minority or veteran owned? Minority means person of color owned small business, means the following racial or ethnic groups as identified by the applicant. And then it names them there. What was the gross revenue for the business April 1st, 2019 to September 30th, 2019. So if you have trouble finding this number or know how to get this number, please reach out to us and we can help you. What was the gross revenue for business between April 1st, 2020 and September 30th, 2020? As you can see here, what they're trying to do is do year-over-year analysis for those quarters from April 1st to September.
Okay. So, sa pahina ito ng disclosure, tinatanong nila kung anong klaseng business meron kayo. Also, tinatanong ang inyong gross revenue from April 1st to September 30, 2019, kumpara sa April 1st, 2020 at saka September 30, 2020. At tinatanong din kung kailangan nyo ng business or technical assistance at kung ang inyong business ay kailangan ng loan, and kung kayo ay nakakuha ng COVID-19 related emergency grants nung nakaraang mga 9 na buwan.
Thank you. So as you go to the website and you fill out these 5 sections, you will press submit, and then then after you press submit successfully, then you'll receive an email from Lendistry. And if you haven't been able to get through this part, or you press submit and you did not receive an email, you can reach out to us, and we can help you walk through that process. But it could take Lendistry up to an hour or 2 to send you an email from this submission. And then once you get this submission, submitted, after the email, then you'll be able to upload some documents. So you're not uploading documents on this application.
So pag nakumpleto niyo po ang 5 pahina na ito at nag-go through ang inyong mga paperworks, then ang Lendistry ay bibigyan kayo ng email. So basically, ginagather lang nila ang mga informasyon. So make sure na kumpleto and hindi pa ho kayo mag-upload ng mga documents na kailangan nila. Okay?
All right. So we, Mike, you're muted. So we have over 1,400 questions in the
Well,
queue.
let me take you. I have a couple things. Let me just move this out of the way. Can
Just
you
wanted
see?
to tell, yeah, we have 1,400 questions in the queue. We're not going to get to all of them today, but we do have all of our information here that we're sending out to you.
Yeah. And so can you see the screen, the self-certification?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the self-certification document that you will download from the site. And I'll show you where to get that in just a second. So you'll download this and then you'll fill this out and then this will be part of your upload. But this is what it looks like. So it's basically just asking you questions of the undersigned signatory is a duly authorized representative of the business.
Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt. Would it be possible to zoom in a little bit on the screen? It's a little bit too small.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you able to zoom in? And we received some
I'm
comments.
technologically challenged, but I could figure that part
This
out.
is
Yeah.
perfect, much better. Thank you.
That better?
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys could see it. I could see it just fine. But yeah, kidding. So, and I'll put this link in the box in just a second. But this is what you're going to check off. So it's a little, you put an X or a check. It's all PDF, so it's already ready to go. So it's just going to ask you questions of the principal office in California. All the questions we've been going through. This is you self-certifying that everything is true and correct. That's basically what it's asking you for. And there's a different one for a nonprofit than there is for the for-profit. And so as you go through it, it's 2 pages, and then the third page is your signature, your name, the applicant's business name and address, your EIN, social or ITIN, your title, and the date, right? And you can automatically fill this in. Signature, you can just type in your name, right? So it allows you to do all that. And then you're going to save it, and then this will be part of your PDF. I know that a lot of questions have come around nonprofits, whether the board chair or the CEO would sign this. It could be either one. So you need to make that choice of who does it. You might have in your protocols and processes and procedures, it might be always the president CEO, or it might always be the board chair, whomever you choose. And there is a slightly different application for a nonprofit, and I'll take you to that right now. So let me just close out of this. So this is the homepage for the CAReliefgrant.com. Everybody could at least get to this for now. I know you can't get much further than that. So as you go down, you do have to click when you apply, either by county or by language. And so this is a confusing part, and I don't exactly know why it's like this, but it is what it is. And the state and Lendistry wanted you to understand that there's people here to help you. So when you choose your county, let's just say you happen to choose Alpine County, all 58 counties are here. You have to go through a partner. That's it. You don't have to pay anything for it. You don't have to become a member of that partner. It's just to kind of show if they helped you, great. If you want help from them, they'll know that you're going through that site. But you just click on apply now. Doesn't matter which partner you choose. It all ultimately goes right into the Lendistry platform. But you do have to click on one of the partners. That's just the way the system is set up. So let's just say you happen to choose the SBDC and you click on apply now. This is in Alpine. Then it will take you right to the grant part. Now, you don't want to do sign into your account. You want to click on find grants now. So when you click on find grants now, this is the page that you're going to get to. And on the left-hand side, you'll see this is the for-profit side. And then on the right side, this is the nonprofit side, which is slightly different. And it does allow you to download that form that I showed you right here, that application certification. But this will give you all the things that you're going to need for each one, but it's slightly different. It will also give you Scott's number down here on the bottom. So feel free to call him. I think he's already received about 10,000 people that have called him today. So, he could definitely use a few more. If a lot of the questions that I'm seeing, if you received EIDL, PPP, a city grant, a county grant, a philanthropic grant, you still are eligible. You just spend this money on something else. And it's really, your rent, your payroll, operating expenses, inventory, right? There's so many things that you could have spent this money on. And then you keep your receipts, right? You're going to keep your receipts for 3 years. You're not going to upload your receipts into this like some of the other grants that we've done. So it should hopefully be pretty straightforward, but I understand that, you know, people cannot get through right now. And like I said, my suggestion would be to wait a couple days, let it kind of subside a little bit, and then go into it. And then if you need help, our number's right there. There's numbers everywhere. All these organizations are here to help you. Any of these groups, let me just go back a little bit. You know, so whichever county, I'm just gonna close out of this. This happens to be Alpine, which I apologize, I don't even know where Alpine is, but I'm gonna assume it's up in Northern California.
It's in the 6, yes.
Yep, perfect. So that's in Scott's area. But all these organizations are here to help you. No one should charge you anything. You should not pay anything to fill out this grant application. And I realize there's a lot of pieces to it, but hopefully when you're actually able to go through the application, hopefully it's pretty easy and pretty straightforward. But with that, let's try, I'm gonna try to answer some of the questions. I know we see a lot of questions, but again, right, if you're gonna apply for PPP in the second round, you're not excluded from this or PPP. They're just very different things.
So a lot of questions on the nonprofit side, Mike. Again, like whose ID do you use? You know, for the nonprofit.
Yeah. So either the president or CEO or the board chair. It's up to you to choose. You know, you might have that already part of your, you know, your requirements within your nonprofit, but it's up to you to choose which one. My suggestion would probably be to go through your president and CEO, but that's just, you know, my thought on it. And it is going to ask you, you know, grants that you've received in the past, whether it's EIDL, PPP, city, county, fill that in. It's not going, there's no qualifier based on how much you've already received, whether or not you get this grant or not. They're just wanting to find out how much other people have received for this. So,
all entities are able to apply C corps, S corps, LLCs, partnerships, limited partnerships, professional corporations, 1099, contractors, self-employed, Schedule Cs. All those entities are able to apply. Just Schedule E is not eligible. So those of you that have a Schedule E, if you're a real estate, you have passive income for a real estate company, then it's not eligible.
Yeah, and if you're an independent contractor or you don't have a DBA, that's quite okay. It would just be your name, right? So it's, you know, I know that those are a lot of questions around the businesses that don't have DBAs and don't have, you know, or independent contractors that it's just yourself. You would just put your name there.
Yeah.
Now some questions about, so this is a grant. It's this grant is administered through the state of California. Lendistry is the only lender, and there are partners. So the only way to apply is through CaliforniaReliefGrant.com, choose a county and then a partner. The link that we sent you for our partnership is running slow, and as we have mentioned, it's not first come first serve. So please apply anytime from now till the 8th or tomorrow to the 8th. This is a grant. It doesn't have to be paid back, but there's questions about will it be taxed? Yes, this grant is taxed, and you'll have to file that with your CPA or professional accountant before 2022 taxes.
So ito pong ito po ay isang grant at kayo ay dapat na mag-apply through Lendistry at sa iba't ibang ka-partner nila. At itong grant na to ay hindi babayaran, pero kayo po ay kailangang i-file sa taxes by February 2022. Kayo ay bibigyan ng abiso.
Okay, let me, so this is the scorecard that everybody's going to get. So Lendistry has created a scorecard for everybody that as you fill this out, they're basing everything off of 4 qualifiers. And then I'm sure there's some other things as well. And the proprietary, so we actually don't know the complete system, but this is what we've been told as well. So the first thing is, if your business or nonprofit is located in an area impacted most by the effects of COVID-19 and the regional stay-at-home orders, as we know, pretty much every county has been affected by this. So I'm going to assume that's a lot of businesses and nonprofits. Businesses impacted the most financially based on gross revenue losses. Certain impacted industries, including retail, food and hospitality, health and wellness, and personal care. And then underserved small business groups, meaning women-owned, minority, persons of color, veteran owned. It could be LMI or rural communities. So all of this, everybody that applies will be given a scorecard and kind of percentage based on how you fit into these categories and a few others. So that is what they're basing all of this off of. It's not a lottery. It's kind of a scorecard system. And so that's what they're evaluating everything from.
Ang grants na ito ay may apat na criteria. Una, ang mga negosyong nasa lokasyon na apektado ng COVID-19. Pangalawa ay ang mga negosyo na apektado mabuti base sa pagkawala o pagkalugi ng negosyo. Ang mga apektadong industriya gaya ng retail, food and hospitality, personal and beauty salons, spas, barbershop, at ang mga underserved na small businesses.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through a couple of the questions that you've asked that we've seen. So we're going to go through a couple of the FAQs that we go through daily, because I think a lot of these questions that you're asking you'll find here. So first, everyone will receive a text message and an email after they've gone through your application, and you'll be given either that you've been funded, or you're on a wait list, or that you've been denied based on a qualifier that you didn't, that you were disqualified based on some qualification. Okay. Oh, sorry, I went backwards. Hold on one second. Oh, for some reason. Some people asked about the bank information, and Scott, let me make sure that I heard this correct as well this morning from Lendistry. They don't need you to fill in your bank account information on this initial application, so you could actually bypass that, correct, Scott?
Yes, you can, yeah.
So my suggestion would be to not put in your bank information in the initial, just, leave it empty. If you're awarded the grant, they'll come back to you and ask you for it, but they've had a lot of issues, and people have had a lot of issues of linking your bank, because you're going to put in your bank account number, the routing number, it's got to connect directly to it. Because what happens if you receive the grant, they ACH the money right into your bank account. But our suggestion, and that's what we got from Lendistry, is to leave that empty for the first round. And if you are awarded, then you can go back and put that information in.
Yeah. Para sa unang tipunin or sa unang round, huwag nyo pong ilagay ang banking information nyo muna according sa Lendistry. Total, kapag na-approve ang inyong loan, then they will ask for it. But for the first round, do not put yung inyong banking information.
Okay. I'm just going to kind of skip through some of them. As we stated, if you received other funding, PPP, EIDL, city grant, county grant, philanthropic grant, you are still eligible for this. So, and this is a taxable grant. So if you receive this grant, you will have to pay taxes on it, and it's based on your corporate income tax or your personal income tax rate. So it'll depend on how much you pay and what your percentage rate is. Okay. Let's see here. You will not provide receipts, but you do need to keep them for 3 years. If you're undocumented, you can still apply for this. You would need to upload I-10 verification IRS form CP565. If you're a real estate company broker, I know I've seen a lot of questions around this. If you're a real estate professional who files a Schedule C on their personal tax returns, you're eligible. If you file a Schedule E for passive income, you would not be eligible. So again, if you file Schedule C, you're eligible. If you file Schedule E, you would not be eligible. Now, I know that there's some that file Schedule C and E. We haven't heard back, but I would apply and see what happens. We haven't gotten an answer on that one yet either. Let's see here. Again, so as you're submitting information, you're only going to submit information, whether you're for-profit or nonprofit, for one person in your business or nonprofit. It's not for, if there's multiple people, ownership, or if there's multiple, board members, or however you decide to do it as a nonprofit. It's just going to be for one person. Okay. And so only one person can apply. Let's see. That is pretty much it as far as this, but let me just kind of go through some of these questions. Scott, I don't know if you've seen anything, or Manal, have you seen any questions that kind of stick out to you? I know.
There's just that question that comes up a lot. Is it 50-50% husband, wife, who applies? So that's coming up a lot.
Yeah. Again, you choose, and you choose to answer. They didn't really say, it should be 51% is really kind of what qualifies as, if it's women owned, it would be 51% ownership, or if it's veteran owned, it should be 51. It should be 50 plus 1 to show majority ownership to qualify for some of these areas. But, ultimately you're going to need to choose, where you're at. Sorry, I'm just trying to read through. So we have
go ahead.
roughly about 1,700 questions. So sorry for,
Yeah, so it is taxable, but we don't know what the tax is. It all really depends on your tax, brackets, and it also depends. You have to talk to your CPA. It's something you have to worry about in 2021, just 2022. So regarding the tax, we don't have all that information. We won't until really next year.
Yeah. And only one business you can only apply one time, right? And so they're going to do a lot of cross-checking around social security numbers, bank accounts, right? So businesses, so you can only apply one time. So make sure that you understand that. If you apply multiple times, they may kick all of your applications out. So I just want to make sure that you understand that.
And Mike, we received multiple questions regarding gig economy entrepreneurs such as Lyft and Uber drivers. Would you mind addressing?
Sure. So whether you're 1099 independent contractor, you absolutely will still qualify for this. You would apply. They're going to look for some kind of a license. Most likely, if you don't have one, you could just put NA. If they happen to pull you as far as receiving a grant, then you would explain. I'm assuming that you may have either a business license or a Department of Transportation license or something. If you don't, then it's going to have to come down to Lendistry in the state trying to figure out what they would accept as far as some kind of permit or license from a state or government entity, because that's the one thing that they're looking for. I know there's a lot of questions around the nonprofits in the 990, 990S, 990EZ. I will try to get you that information. Unfortunately, we haven't been told. We've asked that multiple times, but we will definitely try to get you that information. And my suggestion is, if all you have is a 990EZ or 990S or N, I'm not sure the designations, just apply, put it in, and if it's not acceptable, then they'll come back to you and let you know if you happen to be awarded. But if we don't get you an answer and you're not sure, my suggestion would be don't wait. Make sure that you do apply before January 8th, and let's let them tell you no versus you not filling out because you don't know. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to go.
Mike, one more question that seems to keep repeating itself. The question has to do with is there a time by when I need to use those grants? Is there a specific time frame by when I need to use the funds from the grant?
Yeah, so we have not been told that there's a certain time that you're supposed to use this by. Scott, I don't think I missed anything.
No, there's no specific time you need to use this by. As of this time, we don't really know that answer.
Yeah, so there may be, so what's going to happen if you receive the grant, there will be a grant agreement that will probably lay out some of these parameters. But I think the hope too is that, you may have already paid for some rent, so it would cover some of that. I mean, there's a lot of different ways. Maybe you've already spent the money and this will just kind of backfill what you've already put out of your own pocket, or different ways like that as well. So, yeah. I know there's a lot of questions around.
A lot of stuff around that certification. They're wondering if you can.
Oh, yeah.
That again, put it in the chat or something.
Yeah.
A lot of people around the certification.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I will grab that for everybody.
Yep. And then again, there's about 1,800 questions. We're not going to get to all of them. The ones in the chat. So we are sending everybody to our website, californiasbdc.org. And you just click on learn more about the relief program, and you can go there and you can find the local SBDC network to you. You can also find apply here for the application. Again, it's not first come, first serve, so you don't need to apply today. I would wait till tomorrow. There's a lot of slowness and lagging going on with the websites right now.
So I just put it in the chat, and I will give me a second to get the nonprofit one too.
As far as what you want to submit, as far as documents, what you need to upload, they are asked specifically to you when you apply and you press submit. They're also on that application page what documents to submit. But as Mike was saying, they may not ask for it all up front. They may ask for your articles, your organizational documents, they may not ask. Or here it is. It's right here. Yeah. So these are some of the real quick documents that they're going to be asking for to upload. But if you don't upload them all at the same time, it's totally okay. You can piecemeal it together.
Yeah, a lot of people asking questions about whether you use your tax ID number or your EIN or your social. So if you have an EIN, you absolutely use that. If you don't, then you have to use your social security number.
Yeah.
But you're probably going to want to use your EIN. You should be using your EIN if you have one.
Yeah.
So I do have up here the documents that they're going to want to see. Keep in mind where it says additional documents for both sides. They don't need all of those. You know, it's just one of, whether it's your articles of incorporation, certificate of occupancy, a DBA, a business license. If you don't have any of that, it could be a seller's permit. It could be a lot of different things. So just, you know, keep in mind, they want to work with you. So don't be, you know, if you don't happen to see the exact piece, you know, still apply. Don't not apply because you don't see something. And if you don't have if you're not getting an answer, you know, that's just a reason to apply. And then, you know, let us help you. You know, I mean, our job is to be your advocate, to try to help them understand that not everybody has all these things, or maybe they don't have any of these things, and there could be other things.
Yeah, and if you submitted your application and you accidentally made a mistake, we'll put in the chat the phone number that you can call Lendistry. They have a call center. Also, you can email them. There's an email and a call center that you can call Lendistry specifically if it's a tech problem. Not if it's a loading issue, then you just have to wait an hour or so, or maybe tomorrow, like we're talking. But if it's not a loading issue, you accidentally, you know, typed in the wrong cell phone number or email or whatever, then you could email them or call them. And I'm going to put that in the chat right now.
I just did, Scott.
Thank you.
So it's the last question in the chat at the moment, but there's a phone number to call, and there's also an email. When we had spoken to them today at about 9 o'clock, they said there was about a 20-minute lag time from the time you call to the time they can answer you. So just so you're aware of that. And they're not open 24/7. I believe it was from 7 to 7, right, Scott?
7 to 7.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's not 24/7 now.
Yeah. And if you're not getting anywhere, you know, definitely, you know, send an email to either Scott or myself, and we will try to help you the best we can of pushing that over to Lendistry as well.
It's 6 to 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
And then after the new year, next week it's 7 to 7.
Yeah. A couple of questions too I'm seeing. You know, it's asking about like, how do I certify myself as a woman-owned business? For this, you don't need to be certified. You just would be a woman-owned business, right? So you're making that designation because if you're a female-owned business, then you just click the box that we're a female-owned business. So that's all that you would do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna copy all these questions, Scott. So
Mike,
we do.
We received a couple of questions regarding how to complete the bank verification, you know, part of the process.
So we've been told by Lendistry to not complete that until you've been awarded the grant. So in this application, you should not fill that in.
Okay.
So that is what Lendistry has told us. And there's been a lot of issues with that, people filling it in, and then it doesn't go anywhere. And I think that's part of the reason, because they'll come back. If you happen to get the funding, they'll come back to you, or get awarded the grant, they'll come back to you for that information.
Yeah, we're.
Any other questions you guys see? Manal, Scott?
They're all over the place. If you receive PPP and EIDL and other grant funds from city or local counties, you still qualify for this grant. This is a grant. It's not a loan. It is. You don't have to pay it back, but it is taxable.
So yeah, and one thing that I have seen, if you apply in the first round and you don't get funded, you're automatically in the second round. So that's why we want everybody to apply by January 8th. So it gives you 2 chances, right? So in round 1 and in round 2. So we want you to apply by January
8th. And again, the best way to get a hold of us is through the email, californiasbdc.org. I put it in the chat probably 20 times. That is the best way to get a hold of us. You're possibly not going to get you're not going to get an answer right away, but there's emails that are put out there depending on where you are in the state. There's phone numbers depending on where you're in the state. We're doing our best as far as getting the answers to you as quickly as we can. We are currently only having one of these webinars per day, but next week we might have to upgrade that to a couple times a day. Again, this goes until the 8th, the first round. So you don't have to apply today. You can apply tomorrow or Saturday or Sunday or Monday. You still have plenty of time to apply for the first round.
Yeah.
And the site's not down. It's just really slow, really lagging. And if you're trying to upload something, Lendistry has said that you could wait an hour or two to wait to upload it. If you're having tech issues, besides the upload, like something happened on the application, we put that information in there as well.
Okay. Any other questions, Manal, that you see that we didn't get a chance to get into?
And somebody says that they don't have a NAICS code. Well, all businesses have a NAICS code. If you're having trouble with the NAICS code or trying to find out your NAICS code, just please reach out to us. Again, as Mike stated, you should not be paying anybody to help you with this process, to apply, to submit your documents for any of that stuff. We're here for you at no cost. There's over 500 partners. If you go to find a partner, you can find any partner you want with any county. It doesn't have to be us. We're all working on this together. We're all here for you at no cost.
Yeah. So, ang serbisyong ito ay libre. So, hindi nyo kailangan magbayad kahit kanino para ma-process ang inyong aplikasyon. So, may mga 500 partners. So, make sure you connect with them. So, kami po ay andito para tumulong sa inyo.
Thank you. We will be back tomorrow as well. Tomorrow's presentation is in English and Farsi as well. So every day we do it in multiple languages. If you wanted English only, we will be doing that again on is it Saturday?
It's Friday, right?
It's New Year's Day. Yeah, I guess that's Friday. Yeah. I've lost track of days. So yeah, on Friday we will be doing English only, and we'll be doing Spanish again on Tuesday as well. So just to want to make sure. So we're trying to do it in every language possible. So I know that sometimes it's going to be tough to get through 2 languages, but we're trying to make sure that we're getting this information out to as many people as possible. So thank you all very much. If we didn't answer any of your questions, or if you still have some more, please feel free, reach out to us, reach out to Lendistry. We just want people to apply and, hopefully be successful through this grant program. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Susan, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.